Hey everybody, welcome to day 34 of my casting everyday challenge. We are finally going to finish day 1 of the Amazon coin qualifier coming out here, and this final game is going to be between Powder and Torlk. I know I'm really butchering his name, and he went really far, so I had to butcher it so many times. I'm probably going to say Torlk just for the rest, just because it's quicker for me to say. I know it's wrong, I'm sorry. But we're going to see this game come out, and we saw last time Powder just won extremely fast games, doing a reverse sweep 3-0 with very fast-paced decks, but this time he's actually going to have the Druid right, because his Warrior and Rogue were both banned, so he now has the Druid, which is going to be one of those slow-paced decks, and Torlk here does have the Warrior. He has a Warlock and a Priest. The Priest for the mid-range, just play on curve, play minions that they can't deal with that just stick so well, and that's what makes Priest pretty strong now, is that they have pretty good removal, they have decent AoE, and their minions just stick exceptionally well, and that's why they're so good right now. So you're going to probably see that Dragon Piece, and the Warlock from Torlk, I don't remember if it is that discard style or Reno, but we'll see. Kind of surprised though that the Warrior did go through. So we did see Powder did ban the very aggressive decks, the Shaman and the very aggressive Shaman and the long game Druid outside from Torlk, but Torlk was able to ban both the Warrior and the Rogue, both very fast-paced, weapon-heavy decks. So Torlk playing for these longer-style games, and with the Warrior, that's good, and maybe the Warlock as well if it is the discard lock. He's going to have some aggressive decks coming out, and we already saw how aggressive the Shaman for Powder can be. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Sorry, something popped up, so I had to deal with that. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I didn't mute this, did I? Oh, no, it's muted. Okay, sorry. I didn't see if it was muted or not. So there we go. We're going to go in. Just wanted to make sure that I muted it for you guys. And we are going to jump into the game pretty shortly here. I'm sure they're going to get in that. There we go. So as we say, Powder is going to start off with that Shaman, and Torlk is going to start with the Warrior. And this is going to be two just very fast-paced, wanting to go face decks. And I'm not really sure of which one really has the advantage right here. I feel like the Warrior is a little more consistent than the Shaman used to be. He needs to get those really big cards out and has to really watch his overload, while the Warrior just really gets a lot of aggro. And having a really good start right here with the small time Buccaneer into the Fiery War Axe, into the upgrade, as well as that Cutlass as well, or the Cultist, I believe it is, the Bloodsail Cutlass. I don't really remember. Cultist, that is it. So that will be able to help buff up that Fiery War Axe as well. So Torlk right now just having a really good opening hand, but on the side of Powder, he has a pretty good decent hand too. He has a turn 2 Feral Spirit, a turn 4 Faceless as well, and that's just going to really help out. So Torlk right here now has a couple of options. Does he just want to throw down the Fiery War Axe and go face? Does he want to Buccaneer and even upgrade, which I feel like would be the worst case actually right here. You do want to just throw down the Fiery War Axe and just throw it all face. Deals so much damage right away, but it seems like he does want to clear a little bit, so he does sacrifice his patches to get rid of that divine. I can never remember the name of that. So the soldier, but whatever, he gets rid of it. He doesn't want that minion to stick. He realizes that if he gets buffs, it's just tough to deal with. So he's actually going to Totem Golem this turn. So he's going to deal with that. The fact that he's going to be overloaded. Not the biggest fan of that. He can coin in Feral Spirits, but then he's going to delay his Faceless. But because of that Cultist, look at the damage he's able to do. Able to clear off that Totem Golem like it was nothing. And now coming back up, it's going to be Powder's decision right now if he wants to coin in the Feral Spirits or not. And it looks like he is going to Argent Squire. That's the name. He's just going to throw out the Argent Squire, but that's a fairly weak turn coming out from Powder. Not able to do anything. We will see that Faceless coming out next turn, but look at the damage Torlk is already going to be able to do. He gets a free Corsair as well. He's going to be able to throw down an additional 2 damage. This is now 13 damage going into the face of Powder. So with 10 health left and having to deal 28 to his opponent, it's going to be really tough for him to come back because he's doing a Shaman that has no healing or anything of the like. So Torlk there just doing a massive amount of damage extremely quickly. And now Powder just has to play very desperate here. Going to have to Lightning Bolt as well as Feral Spirits. He's going to be extremely overloaded for next turn. And as we see coming up from the side of Torlk, he has a lot of ways to deal with this. He has another Fire War Axe. He's an Arcanite Reaper coming up. So he can just clear with his minions and go face with these weapons, and there's nothing Powder could actually do at this turn. So he's going to he realizes though of how far ahead he is, so he can't keep his cultists alive and then throw out this Arcanite Reaper. So at this stage of the game, he does have 8 damage to go to the face of Powder, and he needs some kind of top deck, and he doesn't get it. So this is going to be game unless he gets a really good oh no, he's going to go ahead and Lava Burst. Is he going to go face and just surrender, it seemed? He isn't going to go to try... No, he will. Okay, so he's going to go to the Cutlass, so it was just how that worked. But the Heroic Strike, going to be it. That's going to be the first game, going over to Torlk. Just very quick on this Warrior, and this is why it's very aggravating to face a Warrior, just because they have option after option. They have answer after answer, just going face. They have a little bit of, like we said, he actually was able to clear the board fairly well and still apply the damage downtown. So just doing a great job by Torlk there to deal with what was on the side of Powder, and Powder just really didn't have any answers there. He tried to answer reactively, but this is what we said about the Shaman. Yes, you answer stuff very quickly, but because you're overloading, you have to make use of that, and it just worked against Powder there. He wasn't able to use that this high-powered early game cards out of the Shaman, and the overload was just too much for him. So it looks like we're going to see now the Shaman again out of Powder, and this time it's going to be the Warlock out of Torlk. So we do see that is another discard like variety coming out of the side of Torlk, and he does have a pretty good opening hand here. A lot of low mana cards, and we're going to see again the Ardent Squire coming out. Just perfect job by Powder to get that, and with the Possessed Villager out, it's just going to be something that it's going to be really tough to deal with for Powder. But speaking of tough to deal with, there is also the Totem Golem, which is just a great answer to put on the board. Really tough for anything turn 2 to even deal with it. So we're going to see how Torlk is going to be able to answer this. If it's going to be maybe the Imp Gang boss, coin that out. If he's going to just hope the Librarian doesn't get rid of something extremely valuable. But it looks like as he's hovering the coin, it is going to be that Imp Gang boss coming out. And just going to try to do what he can against the Sergeant Squire. It does cost him his Possessed Villager, but that Death Rattle is good enough. He's going to bring back up the Shadow Beast to help him. But this hand out of Powder just has answer after answer, and he has Loot Hoarders in his hand for some nice card draw as well. He's hovering the Flame Tongue, and he's going to go ahead and use it. This is now 8 damage he's going to be able to play with, and with one of them killing the Imp Gang boss, probably the next going downtown to face, it's going to be really tough for Torlk to answer this. He's in his hand right now. We see that he doesn't really have any good answers. Powder is now deciding if he wants to clear or if he wants to protect, or if he wants to go face. There is only one damage short of killing that Flame Tongue, and he realizes that there could still be that Mortal Coil in the side of Torlk. We don't know if he's throwing a one-off at that. If he has that in his decks, it's sometimes a nice flex pick, but it seems like he's not going to go ahead and play that or not draw that card. Still not sure if he has it or not. So he at this point doesn't have an answer for that Flame Tongue except for that Abusive Sergeant that we see. So that is going to help Torlk out here. And this is going to be a decision if he wants to throw that on the Librarian as well. I feel like at this turn he kind of has to. He needs some sort of board to deal with that Totem Golem that is out, and he realizes it too. So he's going to throw it down and just hope that nothing good gets removed. And it's going to be the Imp. That might be the best card for Torlk to get rid of. He still has his Councilman to buff up. Now it's a little bit of card draw that he's going to sacrifice, but losing a Doom Guard would have been a little too much. That is it. I'm pretty sure he runs 2 of. Some people run 1 off of Doom Guards just because this card can be really rough sometimes, and you don't want to draw it early. But he's going to be able to keep that in his hand, and I'm going to guess I believe he runs 2. But Powder has the decision if he wants to go ahead and Lightning Bolt that Librarian, just continue to protect his Flame Tongue, because if he doesn't, the Flame Tongue is going down. There's no doubt about it, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and play a Loot Hoarder. He's hovering it, but this is going to basically make sure that Flame Tongue is going to go down, and I really don't like this play coming out from Powder. I feel like he could have protected that Flame Tongue a little bit better, and it's just going to cost him so many minions, and looking at this point, the Councilman's going to come up, and now Torlk has someone to start buffing, so this is just looking tough for Powder now. He does have Feral Spirits for an answer, as well as that Trogdor, Tunnel Trog, I just love saying Trogdor, but yeah, the Tunnel Trog is going to help him out as well. And the Lava Burst will also deal with that Councilman. But the Librarian's still an answer, so he's kind of forced to also use that Lightning Bolt. So holding on to that Lightning Bolt actually is going to help him out right now. He has a nice Tunnel Trog out on the field, which we see is going to be dealt with that Doom Guard. But it at least was on the board to make an answer come out from Torlk. So this is actually an interesting spot that Torlk is in. But he is going to go ahead. He's going to get extremely lucky here. Oh my god, he's even smiling. Look at that. And Powder even realized of how unlucky that was. Wow. Torlk there getting extremely lucky. So he won the 2/3 chance, and then he also won the 50-50 afterwards. So the chances of that happening, believe it or not, is actually a 1/3 shot of happening, just the one not being removed. So I actually did it the hard way, the easiest way. I didn't realize of just what didn't get discarded. But yeah, so he got extremely lucky there, getting both of those golems out, and this just might be the game now. He's going to be able to Soulfire for free, just 1 mana. He doesn't discard any card. He still has his life tap to hopefully get something else. And a Void Walker is going to help him. Can he get lucky again? Can he win another 50-50 and get rid of the Loot Hoarder? No, okay, so he doesn't get extremely lucky. He at least lost one 50-50. But still, going for the extreme luck, knowing that the Loot Hoarder is not going to be able to do anything right now. And the Doomhammer comes out. That could be an answer right now. He's going to be able to clear off the board a little bit, get rid of the Knife Juggler, but there's still so much damage on this side of Torlk that's going to remain. This is now 11 damage that's still going to be on the board. So he's going to be able to put down Powder to at least 7. And we'll have to see if what the Warlock here can draw. A Dark Peddler. There's an option there, and can he get something else? The Flame Imp? Okay, so it's not going to be it. He's not going to be able to grab 7 damage as far as I know from a Dark Peddler. But he does get a Power Overwhelming and a Soulfire, 2 great cards that he could use for big time burst to end the game. Really, either option is going to be great. I would choose the Soulfire though, just to get past Taunt, because we saw that he has the Feral Spirits to just to have a rough time, since Power Overwhelming can't go through Taunt, but a Soulfire can, so that's why we see him picking that up, and he's actually going to hold on to the Flame Imp. Great choice here coming out, because he realizes that the Flame Imp is not going to do too much, and he has to play around any sort of AoE that Powder might have, such as that Maelstrom Portal, because if he would have been able to get some spell power, that would have made that a lot more powerful. So good job playing around that, getting a really bad card from the Maelstrom Portal, and he's just going to go ahead and surrender. Torlk gets another win. He just needs a win on his Priest, which is a really good card, which is really good against these aggro decks, because it has a lot of taunts, and a lot of taunts that could stick really well. So right now, I really feel like Torlk has this in the bag. I just really love these Priest variants against these very aggro decks. Shaman deals with them a little well just because it has some big power spells, but I really feel like the Warlock is going to struggle against it. It's not able to get through those taunts as effectively, and Powder, this is kind of a desperate pickup, keeping that Doomhammer. He realizes that he needs some sort of answer right there, and we do see not a lot of options coming out from Torlk right now. He does have the Dark Shadow, or no, it's another Spite, I believe. The Nether Spite, I can't think of the card name. Wow, I'm horrible at knowing Priest cards. I don't play Priest that often. I used to play Priest a lot, but I haven't played it in a while. But he's going to go ahead. It's the Historian. That's it. The Nether Spite Historian to grab something huge. But I feel like at this point, the Hungry Dragon's going to be good. It'll give him some sort of turn 4 play, which he doesn't have right now. And the Deathwing, although going to be great, I don't know if this is going to go to 10 cards. And the same with the other one that I saw. I think it was the Scaling Nightmare, just not that great. It does stick fairly well, but it's a little too late gamey, and it's a little bit of a win more card when against a very aggro deck. You don't want win more because you want to have stuff that helps you win. Now here comes the option from Torlk, as it's stalled on my did my OBS freeze? Hold on 1 second. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry if that froze on you. Just my OBS was acting up a little bit there. I just don't know what happened, so sorry about that. And we're just going right back into the game now, and it looks like all he did was able to throw down that Councilman, and he's going to be able to taunt up here finally, though, and with that Shadow Word Pain, it is going to get rid of the Tunnel Trog as well. So with the taunt up, with the Tunnel Trog gone, this is looking extremely good for Torlk right now. And one thing that's great about the Hungry Dragon is he actually never has to play it. He gets to use it as a Dragon Activator and just have it so that he could discover a card from his opponent's deck next. And with that Shadow Word Death, it's going to be great to use down the line, but he realizes doesn't need it right now. Just going to go ahead, clear off this Totem Golem, and going to be able to clear it. He's going to just completely clear the board right now, and Torlk just hoping that he didn't need that card draw. He's just playing aggressive with this Priest deck, making sure that he has all the answers right now, and it's really going to work for him. It's really tough right now for Powder to do much. He's going to have to Maelstrom Portal just very desperately to hopefully get something out of here. Gets a Runic Egg, I believe it's called. That's going to help him get some card draw, but that's only if Torlk uses any AoE, and at this point he doesn't need any. And he's hovering that Hungry Dragon. We'll see if anything good comes to the side of Powder. A 2-1 is decent. It's going to be able to at least be a little bit of an annoyance to Torlk, but he has a good answer for it right away. And this is going to be a good spot for Torlk. He has that Hungry Dragon on the field. The Doom member does come out to deal with his agent, but there's not a lot on the side of Powder to go face just yet. He has that Argent Squire, but it's not doing too much at this point in the game. And with another agent coming out, he's going to be able to buff it up as well. So this is just looking so good for Torlk. He's going to have another agent. It's going to go up to, I believe, a 2-7 now after the Cabal Talon Priest. So it's just going to be a very sticky minion that's going to be really tough for Powder to deal with. Now this is the option from Torlk if he's going to go try to clear up the agent, the Argent Squire, but wasting 5 damage to try to deal with the Squire, in my opinion, is not really all that worth it, and you wouldn't even kill it. So no surprise there, just going to go face. And now a little bit of a good answer here from Powder if it wasn't for that Power of Death coming out of the side for Torlk. So the face is going to be dropped, but Torlk does have an instant answer for it, and that is going to be devastating once Powder sees that. So now Torlk has the the option of if he wants to shield here and what's he going to shield. Powder there, seeing that death coming down, realizing that it's just looking extremely grim for him. And Torlk, not even caring about the discovery, is just going to throw it down for a minion. And looking at everything on the field right now, there's actually lethal on the side of Torlk right now. That could be an answer with the Flame Tongue Totem. So he is going to at least be able to clear off some of this damage on the field. Don't know if it's going to be enough though. Let's see. That's still 13 damage, I see. So he would still need a Feral Spirit as well. So it's not completely over. The Feral Spirit can come down to change the game, but it's looking just a little rough here for Powder. He'll at least get some card draw with that Runic Egg. So that 1 mana card actually helping out him in the long run, and he will be able to clear off this agent and get some sort of good taunts going down. The Rock Biter, too, could be a good late-game card to bring Powder back into it. He actually might think about using this now to get rid of that... Oh, wait, no, then he couldn't Feral Spirit and it'll be game over. So, yeah, never mind. He can't do that now. He's going to have to Feral Spirit, and this is the answer he has to do is, does he clear off the Talon Priest for 6 damage or does he go face? I feel like he has to go face. It is really his only option right now. His only chance at winning is to just deal a massive amount of damage next turn. He has 10 with the weapon and the Rock Biter in his hand, so can he draw more damage? He just needs 14 more. He has 6 on the board after the Feral Spirits are gone, so he has a couple of options here actually, and we do see that the Bookworm going to come out of Torlk, so without a Dragon Activator, he's not going to be able to clear off the... Oh, wait, he can get one, though, with the Historian. Is this game? No, he is just off, I believe. So we're going to see the Historian pick up a Dragon for Torlk, and he's going to be able to clear off a Feral Spirit and put his opponent down to 2 health. But he could just deal with the Flame Tongue instead if he wants to. But no, he's going to go aggro right now, a little bit aggressive. Just put his opponent down to so little health that there's no answer. Actually, no, good choice here to clear off the Flame Tongue instead. So there's almost 0 answer now coming from Powder. And now that extra damage that was on the field is now gone. So he has 10 damage from the weapon and 2 from what's on board. So he needs a really big pickup here. He needs an extra 12 damage in order to win. There's really nothing that Powder could do, I think. The Loot Hoarder coming out a little late, and without his hero power being what it used to be, he needs a taunt, and that's all going to be it. So the taunt does come out, but I still feel like it's not going to be enough. Can he clear out the board? 13 health. Let's see here. No, I think that's still lethal. There is still lethal instead of Torlk, so with that, it is going to be game. Torlk does win this quick 3-0, going to give him the lead. He doesn't need any other cards. He does get a Twilight Whelp as well. Alex draws to actually deal 2 damage to himself if he wanted to, but let's see if he sees it. There's the 4 damage he needs to clear, and then 13 remaining for perfect lethal. Powder going to lose this one 3-0. This has to be devastating. After coming back from a reverse sweep in the last game, he goes ahead and just drops 3 quickly to Torlk, who, in my opinion, would have always won with that priest deck, except maybe against the Druid. And that is one thing that I feel like would have won Torlk in this long run. He just played two very quick decks to beat out on the other aggro decks, and then he was able to win with the Priest because the Shaman and Warlock just weren't able to do anything to it. So this was just Torlk just bringing in great decks and giving him the win because of it. Priest is a very good deck anti-aggro because we saw it of how much taunt it's able to put down. The minions are just sticking. They're just so annoying that you buff their health, and unless you have some very hard removal, such as like we saw from the powered deaths and powered pains, there's nothing this Shaman could do. And from what it looked like, they don't run Hex. They might just run one elemental destruction, never drawing it as well. Just didn't have the wave clear or even just the removal power to deal with that. And this was less than 20 minutes. This was an extremely quick video. I think the only quicker one was the one where we saw Pavel lose 3-0, and that was three very aggro decks. So with that, Torlk is going to win this one 3-0. And yeah, Torlk was the one who beat Pavel as well. So Torlk just winning extremely fast. Just with Ben's Myregut is the only one that it took quite a bit of time. So yeah, with that, that is going to be game. That was an extremely fast set of games. So thank you guys for watching. I said it before, but I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to be live stream or not. Yeah, so it will be tomorrow. So this is coming out on Sunday. Yeah. So I am recording this ahead of time as well, just because I am going to be busy this weekend. But I'm going to be back Monday. I'm going to be live streaming the Strivewire tournament that has the Hearthstone points for it. It is EU actually, so if you're from Europe and you want to compete in that, go ahead, go to Strivewire to check them out. But so I will be there casting that. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow.